name is Naomi Karemi. If you're new in this space, welcome. If you've been here for a while, thank you for sticking around. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 tips on how you can prepare for a C-section for the birth of your baby. So imagine you have gone in, had an induction. If they put in the balloon to try and induce labor prematurely, they would normally leave that in for 48 hours. And with that, they will also put a catheter to collect the urine, because for many times when you have a balloon, you are not able to move so much, or you can, but it's not comfortable. So they would prefer to put in a catheter. So the catheter, when it's put in, it will feel a bit pressure, and some women say the discomfort was a bit more than the one that they felt when they had a pap smear, but the feeling for many is almost the same. The trick in preparing for that is to take paracetamol beforehand, because any pain you would feel after the procedure is only going to be discomfort, but for many it builds up over time. Another one not to forget is to stock up on arnica. Arnica is known for sorting out and helping with any bruising from any procedure. So I stock up on arnica a lot at home for my children, because I expect that there will be bumps and falls, and I have a typical boy who is climbing and doing everything else in between. So what are the 5 steps that you can take to prepare for labor? Back in the day, ancestrally, hair was considered, and it still is considered, as a form of good health. So shaving the pubic area or waxing was not something that we, at least I'll speak from my tribe, was not something that we did. So ask from your gynecologist beforehand what they expect you to do. Sometimes they will say to you not to have a shower using a particular type of soap, or not to put a particular cream or oil your body, because they need to be able to get on and sterilize that area. 2, you can ask them about pain relief, what pain relief you will get after the procedure. Sometimes the body does not react to whatever it is that has been tried or to initiate labor. And so you have gone in, they have tried the induction and it didn't work. Baby is getting distressed and you're getting extra tired. A C-section served to you on a platter is something that is not right, but for many times, passing for a C-section is on a case-to-case basis. And women who have given birth by C-section, they are no less mothers than anybody else who has given birth vaginally and natural, whatever that is. If it is a planned C-section, what you can do is have a birth plan, because they will still honor many of the things, unless it is an emergency. So with your birth plan, have a meeting with the gynecologist or the doctor who has proposed the C-section, and see if they're the ones who are going to be performing it, or meet the team who will be performing them. When the C-section is planned beforehand, what they like to do is already have you go and meet the anesthesiologist. At least that's what they did with me. And then you meet them and they discuss many things, including if you're on any medication, if you've had any allergies, so that that is already done and in your paperwork, depending on when it is that you go into theater. If you were the first one in theater, 8:30, I think they start, that will be the procedure that they would do. They will send you in for phlebotomy works, so that they can do all the blood tests and everything else that needs to be collected beforehand without pressure. Then you will meet the anesthesiologist beforehand, so you can discuss the pain relief and any medication that you have, contraindications and everything else. And then the midwife or the department that you will be going in for would normally call you ahead of time. If they have room and space, they may want to admit you beforehand, so that they can do all the preparations ahead of time if you're the first one in theater. So then you arrive in theater, you go through triage, they check you over, they book you into a room, and you're ready for your C-section. Don't forget to bring extra socks. The theater rooms, or the OK in the Netherlands, they are extremely cold. And they're not only extremely cold, but because you will be numbed from the waist down, it's easier for you to catch a cold. That was my experience. Ask about how the incision is going to be made. These days they do the bikini cuts, not the vertical ones. These days they do them horizontally. It can be as low as possible, and depending on their advice also. So discuss where the incision will be beforehand. Another one is to discuss the procedure also, so that you have an idea of what it is that you will be going through ahead of time. Every C-section experience is different. So discussing with the team who will be looking after you, the team who has suggested that you go for a C-section beforehand, if there is time, is very handy. Another one is if you have compressed socks, they are very good for having them on for after surgery, because they do talk about clotting, which happens when your body is just stagnant and all your veins become lazy or they go to sleep based on the epidural that you had. Be prepared that you will have an epidural. The epidural is actually punctured in the spine, and there is a process in how that can be administered. They would normally ask you to sit in a curve, and for many pregnant women, when that bump is outside, is out there, it's a very difficult one to achieve. The best way I found that helped me was I sat with my legs completely wide open and I rested the belly on the bed where I was sitting. Then they had a cushion for me where they placed it on top of the bed, of the belly, and then I could bend over. So that curve is important because they need to make sure that they are puncturing in the right spot. And then they would check you with a liquid that is in a glass bottle that feels cold, for you to say if you do still feel the cold. The reason for that is if you still have any sensation, they need to increase the medication. That is the epidural. So another way you can prepare ahead of time is ask all the questions that you want to ask. Be in the know. No question is silly, and you're asking because you want to understand. Your partner would normally be sitting on next to your shoulder, up above, but you can also ask if they can lower the curtain when the baby is emerging, or if they have an option of having clear curtain. There is something that happens when you see them emerge. I had that experience and I still rave about it 2 years down the line. Now, I have had moms who have asked me, is a C-section painful? The procedure itself is not one that you would feel. You will feel the pressure when they are getting the baby out, and they would normally communicate with you. They will tell you, here comes some pressure, and that is when sometimes they press the top of the belly, maybe, depending on how the baby is lying and the size of the baby. So the procedure itself, you won't feel it. But the recovery after is like any injury. Your body will ache. And so that's why stocking up on Anika is really important. And they will give you paracetamols also to combat any body aches that are associated with a C-section. If there's ever anything that I recommend for flushing all the medication after a C-section is nettle tea. This one you can actually get it in any tea shop. It is the Zonatura, and it's really nice for flushing all the toxins from all the medication that you had in preparation for your C-section. It's very light, but also it includes a lot of the nutrients plus iron, and I will list them up here, what nettle tea is beneficial for. And then after the surgery, you go into the recovery room, and your partner can do the skin to skin if possible, while you are recovering, because they will normally keep you in the recovery room or the recovery hall for a while based on how the C-section went, but also so that the medication can weigh out before you're sent to your room. These days, however, they are able to send you directly to your room to recover, and your partner can then do the skin to skin. So I'm hoping I've given you enough tips. And in this channel, I share a lot about doulaship, mamahood, birth and postpartum, and everything else in between. So if this video and any others that you have watched on this channel resonate with the information that you're looking for, please consider sharing the videos and also consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit that bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.